Hello all you paranormal pondering people. Welcome to Michelle's Paranormal Pathways. This is the first video in a series of many, and hopefully some conversations with a lot of you about the paranormal. Keep the questions coming in the comments below, and we will try to have a two-way conversation, even though a lot of these videos are only going to be one way for a while until we get everything all figured out. What was so important in the video that I watched that made me want to film this particular topic instead of all of the other stuff that I talked about? Well, a very interesting documentary happened. I decided to watch it, like, dozens of other people. And I was really intrigued, but then I started to notice a few red flags or concerns. So if you are just beginning and you want to film your own paranormal videos, if you're someone who is very curious about the paranormal and you're watching these videos, there's certain things that you should sort of be aware of. It doesn't mean that the video that you're watching is useless because you found something that made you concerned. What you need to have is discernment, and you need to be able to look at something and say, okay, I can see that this could have happened and it might not be what I was hoping to see, but something happened over here, and this is something that I can accept as perhaps genuine or something that makes me curious and that I want to research some more. So if you want to put out good videos, you want to watch good videos. Sometimes you just want to watch a video to scare yourself. Like there's a million reasons for why you want to watch a video. But if you really want to put out videos that are interesting, you sort of need to have a basis of knowing when you're shooting something. You need to, one of the most important things that you need to understand, and a lot of the general public just don't know this, know where your light source is coming from. And I will have some examples in a minute about, okay, this, and this. These are facts. This happened. Does that fit into the facts that are down here? When you have a large investigation team or a lot of people in a small space, it is very easy to contaminate what you're doing, or self-contaminate what you're doing. So you sort of need to be aware. All the light sources, where they could possibly be coming from. The cameraman needs to know where all the other team members are. So you don't have a cameraman here filming, and then you've got somebody standing where the camera is taking flash photographs this way at the cameraman who's filming, and create orbs and weird light things and shadows that would not be there otherwise. So you have to coordinate, and the more members on a team that you have, the more you need to coordinate. And this particular video perfectly shows this in a light that I was surprised was going to happen. It's not well documented. I've got documentary word on the brain. It's very well put together, but there are concerns, of which I will show. I also have a CD card that's not cooperating, a camera battery that's not cooperating. When I finally got a video put together that I thought, okay, I'll split it into two. That way, it should work with the CD card a little better. Goes to download it in the computer, and it's undownloadable for some reason, but everything else on the SD card totally works fine and will download. So, like, I'm not saying that there's something paranormal going on that's kind of preventing me from getting this video up and out there. And self-editing, of course, is one of my biggest problems, because I'm trying to convey so much information that I have, and it's kind of hard to condense it into a little tiny piece that's, recognizable. So I'm going to try and sort of jump in This might not be, the video that you want to watch today. Maybe you're more interested in Bigfoot or UFOs or some of the ghost evidence that we have filmed over the years. Those videos will be coming and they'll be out there. There will be something for you. So, if you're curious and you want to learn more, please, come along on my first journey. And if this journey isn't right for you, check out my second journey and my third one and my fourth one and my fifth one. And hopefully somewhere we will mesh and we will have information to exchange and it'll turn into a wonderful event. So let's jump right in. I will show you a little bit and then I will stop. I will upload it and then we will continue from where we left off, and hopefully we can get this sucker out there so that I can get to the nitty-gritty of what I really want to talk about. So this is more about the investigation and not self-contaminating what you're trying to put out there. So let's just walk over here to my computer screen. I've got it somewhat set up. I will turn this. Oops, there we go. If you type in house in between, this video will show up with this lady. This lady is only in the video for moments. I'm not quite sure why she's got the thumbnail, but she does, so that's what it looks like, and this is the house that we'll be talking about. It's put out by Absolute Documentaries. The whole title of this documentary is The House with Real Paranormal Activity, House in Between Absolute Documentaries. It's an hour, 17 minutes and 55 seconds long. Well worth watching. They do a lot of videos, and I'm sure they're all very entertaining and fun to watch. I know that this one was. So I'm not going to actually show clips because I'm fairly sure that they're copyrighted. So we're just going to look at some stills. There we go. It's a story about Alice and her dream house that was built on lovely land that she found. And what happened to her and her paranormal story. As you can see, it's an A-frame house, lots and lots of windows, which is something that you need to be aware of. If you are filming in an area like this, that's something you need to be aware of. This, as far as I can tell, is her neighbor's house. And if you look at the trees, and then later on in the video, notice it's all grown up, like trees and everything. You can't even see the house next door. So either it's the angles that everything's being shot at or whatever, I'm not sure. But there's a number of years that go by that we're not really aware of in the documentary. So not everything is being told, but if you sort of pay attention to the pictures and things that are happening throughout, you can tell. And of course a documentary can't, especially an hour, can't hit every single little detail. She doesn't have a dog in the video, so I don't know if this is a neighbor's dog or a dog she had before. So Alice is interested in this lovely house that she wants to have built. What we don't know, but we find out later, is that there was a cemetery in this area that was dug up and moved so that the houses could be built. Very similar to Kingston, Ontario and Skeleton Park, where not all the bodies get moved. So there's this in the back of her head. And as the house is being built, things happen. Doors open for no apparent reason. When they hook up the doorbell, it randomly goes off. There's no one around. So these things are happening, and of course in her head she's thinking it's got to be paranormal. At some point, and we're not sure exactly when, several months after the house is built, I'm sure, a light appears in her bedroom, and then suddenly she's more horrified than she should be, and we find out that neighbors, and I don't know if it's these neighbors or neighbors on the other side, had lights appear in the sky over their home the lights came down to tree height, and you can see here, like it's not all that high up, and shone lights down into the backyard, lighting up the whole backyard. And then it just kind of went whoosh, and up it went. And that's their UFO story. They knew that it was UFOs. So she's got this information in the back of her head. So suddenly, when there's lights, she sort of goes from paranormal, spirit-based to alien-based. She only mentions this for a short period of time. Mainly because in Mississippi, where she is, and it does explain in the bottom of the video down here, Florence, Mississippi is where this is, and it's a very strong Christian-based Bible Belt type of an area. So talking about ghosts, talking about lights, talking about aliens is not a big accepted thing. So apparently she kept this kind of secret and told some people, but eventually it got to the ears of a local news station who did a piece on her. And then at some point, an amateur investigator sees it. He's been, looking at videos and things at home. He's an armchair investigator. And he's like, oh my God, that's really close to where I live. I'm going to contact her and see if she'll let me come and investigate. And of course, she's like, yeah, by all means. Stuff happens. He doesn't know what to do. I mean, he's never investigated before, from what I understand. So he's got the knowledge. He's watched videos. He kind of knows what he's looking for. And when he finds stuff, he realizes, I need somebody else in here. I've got no idea. And after they get involved, at some point, the documentary people get involved. I don't know if it was some of the investigators that came in knew the people from the documentary, or they were with them. Like, it's sort of broken, so you don't really get all of the history. And then what happens in the house that escalates into the big ta-da, and all the flags that happen. So it really is a beautiful house. Windows, 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 windows. Why am I talking about windows? And notice there's something reflective, whether it's a light or not, right by this particular window. When you're doing investigations or when you're watching movies and you think maybe you've seen something, know your light source. Know where light can be coming from. It's very difficult if they're inside a home that you don't know where the reflective surfaces are. And a lot of things can reflect from the glass in a stove, the glass in a window, the light off a wall, and reflect back into the camera lens and create some interesting looking things. But if you are observant enough, you can see that and you can go, oh, okay, well, I think that's just light reflecting in the camera because it moves with the camera. So, you can kind of determine, okay, that's not something, that's something, that's a normal earthly thing. So that's why I'm pointing out the windows now. Now, all of this greenery, when you look back at the house with her and the dog, that greenery is not there. There's like some of the bushes are there, but they're not big. So you notice there is a time difference. We just, it's got to be several years. We just don't know exactly what it is. This is when they did the TV clip, and you'll notice the keyword Paranormal Activity. So either the movies were out, the television show was out, that was the tag phrase, that's what they used, and this is how the amateur investigator found out what was going on. That's his finger. One of the things that got him going was sort of an orb-like thing, and there was lights turning off and on, and there was a few things that he was sort of like, I don't know what's going on. I'm going to bring in somebody who knows. That was very, very smart. That is the smartest thing to do is, if you're not sure, you get somebody, talk to some people. Now, the whole documentary is basically focused on this, the stairs and a ball. Very, 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 very interesting. And I'll show you why it's kind of a giant tag in a bit. One thing I didn't notice when I was setting this up the first time around and many other times, if you will notice, and I don't know if this is a glitch of the light, and if you can see where my arrow is pointing, there is something that looks like a string. You can see it going over the brown part of the staircase here, like where the wood is. And it continues all the way across and all the way up. You can see the contrast by the wood and up. I'm not sure what this is, and I didn't notice it at first. And I didn't notice it several other times when I set it up because I was focused on the ball. And when you're watching videos like this, your focus is, being drawn to whatever the story is about. And that's what it is. And I hadn't noticed that. Now, do I think something was set up? Do I think there's a glitch in my computer? Is it a weird light thing happening? I'm not really sure. I would have to have access to the original video and go through it bit by bit, of which we can't do it. But that is something that I noticed. And the original story was that there was an object on the stairs, and I think she lined up, things like the dolls and things along the stairs, and one of them fell. We don't find out until later that it was one of the new investigators on the team that decided to put balls on the stairs, and the baseball is what everybody focuses on. So I'm going to stop here. I'm going to upload this, and then we're going to get into the reason why I'm talking about the lighting and know where your team is. Those are two of the most important things that you can know and understand when it comes to investigations, whether you're watching them, whether you're filming them, whether you want to film them. It's really important to note. So I'm going to stop here. I'm going to upload this because I can see it's still recording, and then we will pick up where we left off, and I'll just show you a few more things to look for, and then we will have a chance to get into some really exciting videos about my past and things that happened and all of the various subjects. So we will be back in just a few minutes. This is end of part 1.